So, hi everybody, thank you for joining me here in my happy space. My name is Hannah. For those of you who have watched before, thank you so much for returning, and thank you so much to everybody that watched the last video, liked the last video, left me a comment, subscribed to the channel, and even some of you went as far as to share my channel on your Instagram profiles or even on your own podcasts. So thank you so much. I really wasn't expecting all of that last time. And if you're new to the channel, welcome. Thank you for joining us as well. Hopefully you're going to enjoy looking at my different knitting and crochet projects. Like I said, I'm Hannah. If you want to know a little bit more about me, then I suggest heading back to the first episode, and I'll just give you a little bit of information about who I am and my crafting journey. So there's a few things I'm going to try and work on. They are all about camera work. I'm going to try and look in the right place all the time. I've got a little marker on my camera which will hopefully help with that. And last time there were a few little shakes and wobbles in the camera work, so I'll try not to bump into that this time. So let's get straight into it, shall we? I've got some finished objects to share with you, some whips to share with you, and some new goodies as well. So we're going to start off with our FOs, our finished objects. There aren't that many, I have to be honest. We've had a bit of a hectic time here, so I'll show you what I've achieved in the last couple of weeks. Now, last time, you may remember I told you I was working on a pair of what we call vanilla socks, and they were for my brother Dominic, who's got quite large feet, almost a size 13. So here we go. One very large sock. Let me find its partner. Now, you'll have to excuse the make do sock blockers. I don't own any sock blockers. I don't block my socks. So I've just made some really quickly out of some cardboard. So I think on the shopping list will be sock blockers, just so I can show you lot what I've been up to. So these socks have been knitted using the basic sock pattern from Winwick Mum. That's a free pattern that you can find online. And these are a cuff down sock and with a heel flap and gusset, whoop, and down to the toe decrease. Now, like I say, these are just your bog standard vanilla socks, so you know I was working on other projects at the same time. Now these socks, if I just check my notes, are zigzag yarn. I don't know what colourway they are because it's one that's been tucked away in the stash for quite a long time. So that's King Cole zigzag socks, all finished, ready to go off to be worn. Now the next pair of socks that I was working on was a pattern also by the Winwick Mum, so I can see myself looking over at my screen. I'm filming this on my phone and the camera points towards me, and it's quite difficult not to look at what you're doing, so keep focused on the camera, Hannah. Like I say, next pair of socks I was working on was also a Winwick Mum pattern. This pattern was the Easy Lace sock. Again, another free pattern from Winwick Mum. I'll show you the first one that isn't in a makeshift blocker. Here it comes. I've got size 8 feet, so these look quite big as well. And I've gone for a very long sock here. I think I must have got into the pattern. Now, last time I told you this sock yarn was West Yorkshire Spinners, which it is, but it's not called Starry Night, it's called Silent Night, okay? And it's got a little bit of sparkle in there as well. Now, these two socks have come out a little bit differently. If you saw last week's, you'll see that the first sock I did was almost different one side to the other. So there's the sort of a pale blue side, and the other side's a lot darker. Now, I don't mind this. I don't have to have matching socks, so that's fine. But you'll notice when I show you the next one, they are slightly different. So I'll show you this one in the blocker. And you can see here, the two sides are nearly the same. So the yarn pattern's almost spiraled round. If I give it a little stretch, you might just be able to make out the pattern there. An easy lace pattern. If I show the other one, put my hand in. There we go, so you can see the lace pattern. And that's all the way around the leg, then the front of the sock. So this again uses the format of the basic sock. Cuff down, leg, heel flap and gusset onto your foot. Now, heel flap and gusset fit my feet really well, and I've got it down to exactly what sort of size I need. I do a slightly longer heel flap than she suggests, and that just gives me a much better fit. So those are for me, and those are a finished pair. Now, they are the only finished objects for this week, but I have got some whips, work in progress. Now, I showed you a couple of them last time, and I've been working on some of them. I said I was going to start, and now have. So we have got, just check my notes, the Mistletoe Kisses socks, and they're from Craft House Magic. And if you remember, I was using some leftover yarn and was using the suggestion from Ruth over at Ruth Loves to Knit that you can get a good pair of socks out of 50 grams of yarn and contrasting colour. So I'll show you what I've been using first. I showed you this before. This is a one-of-a-kind from Somerset Yarns. So it's blue with some different speckles throughout. And this was the leftovers that I had from my Winter Lights shawl that I showed you before. If you want to have a look at that, if you've not seen it, that's in the last episode. So that was going to be for the main bulk of my sock. And I had about 56 grams of that one. Then I also have used this lovely colour. Now this, it is showing up quite bright on the camera, but I think it is even brighter in real life, a little bit more with some pinks in. Now this is Neon Purple, and this is from Fearless Yarns. Now I got a 20 gram skein for that one, and that's going to be for my contrast cuffs and toes. So let me show you what I've done already. Again, another makeshift sock block, just ignore that for a moment. Here we go. So there's our cuff in that beautiful neon purple. It really is a bit brighter in the flesh. It's really lovely. Then we go up to our pattern. That's using the one-of-a-kind from Somerset Yarns. Now, I've got lots of new things in this pattern. The pattern is really well written. I won't go into too much detail because it's a paid for pattern, but like I say, really easy to follow and a real excellent breakdown to knit these bobbles. I can get a little bit closer. There we go. Haven't done those before, but I'm pretty pleased with them. They've come out quite well. Then we've got some knitting through the back loop, some yarn overs to make the whole stitches. Really pleased with how that one's come out. Now, the pattern then calls for a heel flap and gusset, but a different heel flap. The one in the pattern, I think, is a flat heel rather than a slip knit heel, and it's also got some cables on it, and I thought a little bit too far for me, and I wasn't 100% sure about how much yarn it was going to use, so I've just gone for my regular heel flap, gusset, foot, and it's the toe decrease in the pattern that I would do anyway. So there, that's that beautiful neon purple again. Really lovely yarn to knit with. I've been looking at Fearless Yarns for a while. They do some brilliant bright colours, and this was a perfect project, and I only bought a little 20 gram skein, so it's a brilliant way to just try that one out. So one finished Mistletoe Kisses sock. Haven't cast on the other one yet, so that's still to do. So hopefully next time I see you, there'll be 2 of these really lovely socks. And I've got a good length. I do normally like a long sock, but I'm quite happy with that. And whilst I was knitting the sock, I've got a very detailed breakdown of exactly how much yarn I've used. So I started off with 53 grams of the one of a kind and 20 grams of the purple. And I measured and weighed everything. Measured it after I made the cuff, measured how much yarn was left, weighed that after I'd done the pattern. And then I weighed it again after the heel flap and the heel turn and the gusset decrease. I've measured it all the way through, and I have got the equivalent amount of yarn left. So fingers crossed, all goes to plan, there will be a matching sock. See me keep looking down, I'm just looking at my notes, so don't think I'm elsewhere. Okay, so that is the Mistletoe Kisses socks. Let's pop those to one side. Now I've started another sock. Now I'm trying to increase my skills, if you like, when it comes to knitting. If you remember last time I was saying about how I tried out the lace sock to get a bit more practice at lace. I did the cable headband, have a bit more practice at cable. So this time I've decided to go for colour work, which I have done a little bit of before, only a very small amount. There was some in the Winter Light Shawl last time. So I used the skills I'd learnt there, put into place here. So in my Hufflepuff bag, we have got another sock. Okay, this sock is another free pattern. There's so many free patterns out there, and I haven't, like I say, haven't done a lot of colour work, wanted to give it a go, so why not try a free pattern first, see if I like it, and then go from there. So let me find, this pattern is called On the Fence Socks, and it's from Fish Head Creations. This is using 2 colours, obviously, for colour working. So the first colour, now I don't know the name of this colour because unfortunately I didn't keep the ball band. You might recognise this. This is leftovers from my Dotted Rays shawl. See that again, like a bit of sparkle. So we've got pinks and greys with a few little black speckles throughout. Now that colour has come from Siobhan Craft. Okay, so that's our contrast colour. Our main colour yarn for our socks. So this colour is, I'm not sure how to say it, Sabiduria. Not sure if that's right. Sabiduria, we'll go with that. This one is a Malabrigo sock yarn. Now I didn't realise until I was knitting with this one that yes, it is a sock yarn, but it's 100% wool sock yarn. It does say that it's been treated in a way that it's washable and durable, so fingers crossed the socks are going to be okay. Right, so those are the 2 yarns. Show you the actual sock now. Tuck in the ends. Okay, so start off with the cuff. That's just a basic, so it's cuff down pattern. This is just a basic 2x2 rib. The pattern does call for some differences with some decrease stitches. Now I've just gone with my usual cuff that I would do with a Winwick sock. Then we go on to the colour work. So there we go, we've got like a zigzag pattern there. Now with this sock and with the lace sock and the mistletoe socks, I've actually cast on an extra 4 stitches. I normally do 60 stitches for a sock, but I've gone for 64 on those socks because I'm quite a tight knitter. I wasn't sure if the lace work or the colour work or the pattern might tighten my knitting, so I've gone for a slightly bigger stitch count to compensate for that, so hopefully they'll be okay. So like I say, there's the colour work. Then we go down to the leg. This one has got a contrast heel, so change colours for that one. This one is I've gone for the normal knit one, slip one, heel flap, heel turn, then down to the gusset decreases. So I'm just starting on the main part of the foot there. Okay, so if you've seen me knitting socks before, I knit mine on mini circulars, 9-inch mini circulars there. These ones are higher bamboo, and just a couple of stitch markers there. Those are just ones I've made myself. Those are for marking out the gusset decrease, but I keep those in so I don't have to replace them when we come to do the toe decrease. Now, continuing with this pattern, this colourwork zigzag will be repeated before the toe decrease, and there'll be a contrasting coloured toe. So there we go, almost one sock, and again that is the On the Fence socks from Fish Head Creations. We'll pop that one away. So those are my knitting projects. I'm just going to apologise just in case you heard any banging around. There are people upstairs, so just in case you hear anything, that's what that is. Okay, knitting projects, that's those. Moving on to a crochet project. Now you might have noticed I've got a few crochet bits and bobs around. And I did say last time that I do crochet. Haven't done any for a little while, so I thought it was about time. Tucked away in my stash, I had one of these. Sorry, the writing's backwards because I've got the front facing camera on. A Scheepjes Whirl. I think that's how you say it. We'll go with Scheepjes. And this one is in Green Tea Tipple. So I've decided to crochet a shawl in this. I've crocheted a few other shawls before, but I'll show you the one I'm doing at the moment. Went online again, and again another free pattern. Now I'm not being stingy, there's just a lot of free patterns out there. Some people are on a budget, so free patterns are pretty good. Here we go, just a small piece to show you first. Haven't got too far on this one. Okay, and the pattern is called the Daisy Chain Shawl from Kirsten Bishop. Now I've made a few alterations to this pattern. Now you might be able to see it's called Daisy Chain because there's those daisy shapes. I'll put my hand behind it, you might be able to see it better. No. Hold up against the wall. So there's a daisy shape there, the holes, and the other daisy shapes are there. Okay, now the pattern actually calls for a puff stitch, and I have gone for a popcorn stitch just because I find popcorn stitches a little bit neater, so I decided to go with that. And then we're moving on to sort of a ripple effect here. So only like a small piece done there, as I say. Got my stitch marker, progress keeper, little mermaid tail. That one is from What Must Have Made. Okay, let's have a quick drink. Now, like I say, I have used quite a lot of these whirls for crochet projects, and because I haven't shown you a huge amount of crochet yet, I thought I might show you the other shawls, or a couple of the other shawls that I've made. It's kind of just tidying up here. Okay. Show you a couple of other shawls that I made with my whirls. Might give you a few ideas of what you can do with yours if you haven't used them yet. So I've got a pile down here, so if I'm looking over here, that's what I'm looking at. Excuse me. So we will start with this one. They're quite big shawls, get quite a lot of yarn. You get 1,000 meters on a regular whirl. So this one, if I move it up, you'll be able to see the colour change all the way down. Okay, you can see the triangles there. This pattern is called Wild Ginger, and it is from Lisa Cook, who you might know as Lisasattik. She's on Instagram, Ravelry, Etsy. So that's that one. And the colour of that one is Passion Fruit Melt. I'll show you one more. And that's a symmetrical triangle shape. That's that one. Move on to another. Now this one, I'm not sure how to say this name either. Luila? Probably a lot of you have seen this one. It's been on Instagram a lot. It's been out for some time. This one is, this particular pattern that I used is from Potter and Bloom. And this is a long scarf this time. So you can see that this one makes those leaf shapes. And it's a very long scarf, so we'll do it this way. Show you all the colours. Go through the yellows, onto the greens, further, turning blue, and then the blues finally all the way to the end into these purples. So a very long scarf. Sorry, I got a little tickle in my throat. Okay, so that pattern was made using the Jumping Jelly Whirl rainbow colour. Move on to another pattern from Lisa Cook, Lisasattik. This is one of my particular favourites. This one is called Custard Cream Shawl. Again, another symmetrical triangle. This one has been made using Blackcurrant Squeeze Me. This one starts grey. Pale blue into sort of grey blue through to a purple, finally into this brighter blue colour. A few more different stitch types in this one. The other two I've shown you have been sort of one pattern block that have been repeated. I won't show you too much. Again, this is a paid for pattern. We've got popcorns, your regular trebles and doubles, got some cluster groups, and then if I find the right section down here, you can see we've got some raised trebles. And this one I've used the leftovers for tassels. This one is Sliced Cherry Pie, and the pattern is Lost in Time. Now, if you are a crochet, you've probably heard of this one. It's been out for a while, and amazingly, this is a free pattern. It's got lots of different stitches and has been affectionately nicknamed in my knit group as my heirloom shawl. So this one is by mijocrochet, I think that's how you say it, Johanna Lindhal. So this one starts grey into a darker grey, through to a pink, darker pink into a more reddy pink. Oh, got thread there. Again, this one's got tassels. Makes a nice symmetrical triangle, easy to wear. This one really was a challenge. So we've got, again, some popcorn stitches, some raised trebles. We've got some more trebles there to make this sort of trellis kind of shapes, and that repeats through all the way. So hopefully, if you've got a whirl sitting around, that gives you a few ideas of the different things that you can make with them. I haven't knitted with the whirls before, so I can't really give you much insight there, but to crochet with, as long as you've got a good crochet hook that you're happy using, they're pretty good. There is a high percentage of cotton in them, so if you're new to crochet, you might not want to give this a go straight away using one of these, because cotton can be a little bit splitty, I find, with crochet. Okay, so those are all my shawls. Now, I decided to show you these different shawl projects today because I only had a couple of finished objects, a couple of whips. If you think this is a good idea, if you'd like to see a few more of my different projects that I've completed in times gone by, and I haven't got a huge amount of other things to show, then if you like seeing those different things, please let me know down in the comments. If there's anything in particular you'd like to see, I don't know if there are a huge amount of crochet podcasts out there, I have to be honest, I haven't checked. But if there are particularly anything crochet you'd like me to show you, then feel free to ask. You might want to know about blankets, shawls, toys, anything. Again, if there's anything knitting you'd like to see, I'd love to have some suggestions. Pop those down in the comments. So that's me showing you all of my made and half made projects. I've got a couple of other things to show you, some new goodies. So here we go. Look at these teeny weeny micro skeins. Now these are 5-gram skeins. I'll show you one. A little stitch marker attached. And these are from Cuddlebums Yarns, which you can find on Facebook and Instagram. Now, these were you might have heard of the hashtag Fiver Friday. So these were a Fiver Friday deal. And the deal was 4 of these micro skeins, random, and a little stitch marker and free postage. So £5 for those. So treated myself to 2. Now this was when I was collecting yarn for my northeasterly blanket that I showed you before, thinking, oh, I need to add to my stash for that blanket. If you saw the bag full of yarn that I had, you know that I didn't really need to, but you know, they're quite nice little treats anyway. They'll go into something. And the final thing to show you is this one. Sorry again about the writing. This one is from the Paw Ply Yarn Company. And this is the Countess is the colourway. Now, it's dyed based on the character that Lady Gaga plays in American Horror Story. Now, I'm a huge Lady Gaga fan and a huge American Horror Story fan, so I definitely needed this one. You can see, again, another sparkly yarn. And it's not showing up exactly true to colour on the screen, but pretty close. So you've got these different shades. I'll show you the other end as well, just for a bit of variation. Different shades of pink, and a few bits of black in amongst there. I don't know what this is going to become, but it will become something beautiful, I'm sure. Really lovely, soft 4-ply yarn, that one is. So those are the new things that have been added to my stash over the last couple of weeks. There is another little project that I am taking part in. It's not knitting, it's not crochet, it's not a woolly craft, but I thought I'd quickly show you just in case you are interested. You might have seen over on my Instagram again that I'm taking part in this. And this is a hashtag challenge, and it's called 100 Hexis for 100 days, and it's ran by So Foxy Mama. This is where I saw it. Someone else had shared it. I had a look. Now, This is a sewing project, an EPP, English Paper Piecing project. You might know it's patchwork. And there's a different theme for every week of how to choose your fabrics. So the first 7 days was sewer's choice, and this is what I have chosen already. So I've sewn them together, and these are 3/4 inch Hexis, and all of these fabrics are from my stash. That's how I chose them, just pick them at random. Sewn them together. I'm sewing them together at random as well. Again, I'm not 100% sure what it's going to become. Maybe a project bag, something like that. And the next theme that's for this week is treasures. So I shall be diving into my stash again to see what I can come up with. If you want to see a little bit more of these different types of crafts, also let me know down below. If you want to follow what I'm up to on those as well, have a look over on my Instagram. If you do want to have a look on Instagram, you can follow me over there. Same name as the channel, Hannah's Happy Space. But this time we're Hannah's _happy_space. And that's me over on Instagram. So, I think that's everything. Finished objects, whips, new types of projects, new yarny goodies for me to play with. So another massive thank you. I really do appreciate everybody watching. Like I say, it was amazing. I wasn't really expecting the numbers that I've achieved, subscribers, new followers over on Instagram, shares. Those of you who have sent fellow crafters my way, thank you so much. Hopefully, like I say, you've enjoyed this one. I do feel I've said and a few more times than I did last time, but again, fingers crossed you've enjoyed watching. Leave a little comment if you want to. Any questions, greatly appreciated. Give me a little thumbs up if you did enjoy the video. Maybe send some other people this way, see what they think. Okay, hopefully I'll see you again next time. Bye.